Hi, Sprayberry students. This is Miss Ponticelli, one of your counselors, and I am recording this so that you will have a video presentation that you can listen to on your own or share with your parents so that you guys can see the information that is being provided to our students about college information and Naviance as well. So the first thing that you probably need to know is who your counselor is. We are divided by last names. So if your last name starts with A through D, you have me as your counselor. Last names E through LI have Miss Hawk. Last names LL through ROC, or if you participate in dual enrollment for Chat Tech or any two-year college, you have Dr. Brady. And then for last names ROD through Z, or dual enrollment for KSU and any four-year college, you have Dr. White. On this page, I've also included our Sprayberry Counseling website. That's where obviously you found this presentation. You will also find all of our monthly newsletters and other pertinent information that our students need to know will be listed on there. Also, we will update things on our Twitter and Instagram, which is also provided for you here. The lesson overview for today includes any post-secondary options students have, college application process, Naviance, and we will also touch on scholarships and financial aid. So factors for college admissions. The bulk of what colleges look at will be this pyramid at the bottom. So rigor of classes. Did students take honors or AP classes? Did they challenge themselves in high school? What those grades were that you received in those classes, and then obviously your total GPA and your test scores, so SAT or ACT. Some colleges will also take a holistic approach, which means that they are looking at the whole student. So that's including extracurricular activities, any sort of clubs, sports, work that they may have done during high school, community service, the essays that the students write, letters of recommendation, which comes from teachers and from counselors, and then demonstrated interest. Demonstrated interest means that you have shown that you would be interested in attending the school by taking a tour of the college or coming and visiting their college admissions representative when they come and speak at Sprayberry, maybe going on their website and doing a virtual tour, anything that puts your name out to that college. With all that information that you just received, you then need to use that to build your college list. So think critically about everything that you've done in high school, and you can look on all of the college's websites and find something called a freshman index, which shows what the average freshman looks like that they accepted for the current school year. You can use that information to then determine if a school is a reach school. Maybe you fall slightly below those academic credentials. Maybe you didn't have as many AP classes as their average student, or you have a slightly lower test score, but it's still somewhere where you would love to go, and if they accept you, of course you will be attending there. That would be considered a reach school for students. Somewhere where you should still apply, but just know that you need to kind of beef up your application with some of that other extracurricular information and those letters of rec. Your range school means that you fall right in line with who their average freshman was that has begun school this year with them. So you meet their GPA range, you meet their test range. All of that looks like exactly how you will be presenting your application to them. And then a safety school is somewhere where you exceed above and beyond what their average student was for this current school year. I would also recommend thinking of a safety school possibly as a financial safety school if your student is thinking about attending or looking at a lot of out-of-state schools. Maybe make sure that they apply to somewhere in-state that also qualifies for, maybe the Hope Roselle Miller or just some state financial aid. Points to consider when you are building this college list. Remember, check those admissions requirements. Every college will have them listed on their website, so it should be pretty easy to find. Most colleges will only consider academic classes when calculating GPAs. So even though we will provide a transcript that has a weighted and unweighted GPA on it, some colleges will take that information, recalculate the information from those academic classes, and use that when they are looking at your GPA. Class rank will no longer be reported on transcripts to colleges, and we won't be letting them know in the secondary report as well when counselors send that. Really, that is for the benefit of all of our Cobb County students. It means that they are being looked at for the work that they have done, the GPA that they have received, instead of being compared to the other students that are within the school. And as we mentioned earlier, colleges want students who show an interest at their school. So that is that demonstrated interest. They want to see kids who have a desire to come and be a part of their community. For two-year colleges and technical colleges, their requirements are a little different. Most of the time they will not need an SAT or an ACT, but they will have that listed on their admissions requirement page when you look at that. So please be sure to look out for that. Most of the time they will have you take something called an AccuPlacer exam, which is just a test that you go and take on campus with them that helps you be matched with the correct level of classes that you need with them. So like typically, making sure that you're in the right math or the right science level to begin school. For two-year school requirements, they do have a 2.0 GPA that they require from high school transcripts. They also would require that 2 world language plus all the graduation requirements that you will already be meeting. In technical colleges, all you need to do is provide proof that you have graduated high school. So at the end of the school year in May, you will request a final transcript from us, and it will show that you have graduated. And that's all you need to send to them. If you're interested in the military or the armed forces, you do need that high school diploma. You will want to take the ASVAB, which I believe Sprayberry will be offering, so please be sure to listen for announcements for that. You will also want to make contact with the branch recruiter. If you need help finding out who that is, please contact your counselor and we can provide that information to you. Some schools did have an impact on college admissions from COVID. If you guys were paying attention last year, every school in Georgia did make the standardized test optional, so you did not have to take the SAT or the ACT last year for college admissions. This year, though, it does look like most of them have added that back. So please be sure that you are checking the college admissions websites for any updates about if they are requiring that test or not. We are trying to keep up with everything as well, but right now, things are changing obviously on a daily basis, so please make sure that you are also keeping track of that. College visits last year, a lot of them became virtual. Some of those virtual options are still offered, so be sure to look on their website, see if there's anything that you can attend with them. College visits here at Sprayberry will be in person again. So they will be hosted in the LGI. There will be a 30-person cap for each person who is coming, each admissions rep who's coming. So please be sure that you're paying attention on who's coming in case there's a college that you're interested in. I will show you later in this presentation how to sign up for that. And in college deadlines and their admissions requirements, like I mentioned, were altered some last year with COVID. Colleges are constantly updating their deadlines and their requirements. So like I said, please be sure that you're checking their website for their most up-to-date information. So there are different application types that you guys can be using to apply. These basically just mean that there are different deadlines. So early decision is an early deadline for a school, and it is considered a binding contract. So that means that if you get into the school, they do expect you to be attending, despite if you get enough financial aid or assistance from them. So please keep that in mind if you see something that you are applying early decision. There's typically a lot of paperwork that you have to fill out for that, so you will know if you are applying early decision to a school because they want to really make sure that you understand the implications of that. Early action, though, is different. So that just means that the deadline is typically in the fall, usually like October, November. It is not binding. You can apply to as many schools as you want early. It just means that you're using their earlier deadline to get everything in. Single choice and restricted early action is also non-binding. You still cannot apply early to another school, but you can apply regular decision to other schools. And if you get in, you still have a choice of if you want to attend there or not. Rolling admissions is open admissions, so they give out their decisions throughout the school year. Once you get everything in and you've completed all the requirements that they're asking for, within a few weeks, typically they're able to give you their decision. Regular decision, their deadline is usually in the springtime, and then you'll find out obviously by typically April if you are accepted into the college. And then priority deadline is like rolling admissions, where they're constantly giving out information, but the priority will be given to applicants who meet their priority deadline, which is, again, typically early. This shows you the step-by-step process that you need to go through for your college admissions and college applications. So you need to select which colleges you're applying to and determine how they accept applications. We will cover both Common App, Coalition, and direct to institution options within the next few slides. So be sure to listen for that and figure out which application type you want to use. You will submit your application using one of those websites. You need to complete it as it is directed by the college, because some colleges will only accept it certain ways. Be sure that you're taking your time with this part of the process. If you have essays that you need to write, make sure that you're putting in some thought to that. Have somebody else read it. You really want to make sure that you're giving your best foot forward on it. You will also send your test scores, if they are required, via College Board or ACT.org or ACTstudent.org, I believe. This cannot be done by counseling. We don't have access to that information because it is a third-party system. So you pay for the test through College Board or ACT. You have to send your scores through College Board or ACT. The thing that you will do for us is this step 5, which we will walk you through in detail. You need to use Naviance, which is our delivery system, to invite your teacher recommenders and also to go through our school process for sending transcripts. We will send your transcripts for you. Your teachers will send your recommendations for you through Naviance, but you need to make sure you're doing your application first and then using Naviance as our school's tool to send all that information. You can then track your status both on Naviance and on your institution's website. So once you have created an application with them, you will have a portal that you can use to then go in and make sure that you have completed the steps that are necessary for the college. One of the application types that I mentioned was Common App. So this is a website, commonapp.org, that houses 500 plus members of different colleges and universities, both in America and across the world. So a lot of them are also international, so it doesn't just have to be colleges that are here in our country. If you're interested in looking, you can find all of the members on their website and just type in the name in their little search bar and it'll pull up if they accept Common App. If a school does not pull up, that means that they do not accept the Common App as their application. You can look on each specific college's website and it will tell you how you need to do the application. So if you're using Common App, you can fill it out that one time, and as long as the different schools accept the Common App, you can send it to all of them who accept it. So you don't have to, be filling it out for multiple schools. You'll fill out the one time and send it to everybody. So I'll get the same information. If you are using Common App, you will have some extra steps to go through on Naviance, which I will show you, because you need to link your Common App account with Naviance. It integrates very easily. It's a pretty simple process, but sometimes students get a little tripped up because there is that extra steps you need to go through. So I will show you how to do all of that. We also have a separate video on our website that shows you how to link this as well. When you are on Naviance, it is very important that if you are applying through Common App, you tell us that the college application is through Common App, because that's how we will know, like how the system knows where to send the information. The Coalition for College is very similar to Common App. It is on coalitionforcollegeaccess.org. Not every college is part of this, so please go onto their website and look to see which colleges accept this. The difference with Coalition versus Common App is, while on their website it is very similar, on Naviance it is not. On Naviance, this is still considered direct to institution, so you do not need to link it with anything. It will be basically as if you're just not using the Common App, so you won't see a drop-down option for Coalition. You will just see either Common App or direct to institution. For schools that don't use either the Common App or Coalition, it is again considered direct to institution. So typically this means that you are having to apply directly on their website. KSU is a perfect example of somebody who a lot of our students will apply to, and they don't accept either of those applications. Instead, you need to go to KSU's website, go to their admissions page, click apply now. So some colleges will only want you to apply based just on their website. So please make sure that you are paying attention to how colleges want their application done. But this all will still send the information the same way. Naviance will still be utilized the same way for all of these. It's just that Common App requires a couple extra steps to get set up, whereas the other ones you just go in and start adding the colleges in. So colleges do not have a preference for how the application is done unless they only want it done on their website. So if they accept both Common App and on their website, there's no preference. There will not be preferential treatment given to one application style or the other. You are all seen in the same portal. It all goes through the same. So please don't feel like you have to do one versus the other. So now we're going to talk about Naviance. It's important to remember that this is a delivery system, not an application service. Your application needs to be done through one of those ways that we just spoke about, Common App, Coalition, Direct to Institution, any of those before you link it then onto Naviance. So this is how we will send your transcripts, how we will send your letters of recommendation. You can also use it for scholarship searches, so I will show you how to do all of that. It's important that you know how to log into it. So if you are here at school and logged into a computer on campus, you will be logged in automatically when you go in. If you are at home, you need to use your Microsoft 365 username and password, so it should be the same way that you logged into CTLS, and that's how you will access Naviance. On the next page here, I will show you when you are trying to access it from the Cobb County homepage. There's a spot up here that says Find It Fast, and you go down to Naviance, and that pulls you to the right website. If you want to access it from Sprayberry, you'll see a menu option that's over here, and when you click it, you click into Resources, Academic, and Naviance is right down here, and it will pull you to the correct website. If you want to go directly to it on your own, this is our student website for Naviance. It's specific to Sprayberry. This is the URL link that you need to use if you're trying to log in. Once you're in, this is what your homepage should look like. You'll see your name up here, and then these different tabs up here will be important, especially this colleges tab, and then this college I'm applying to favorites link will also be very important for you guys to remember. The first thing that we would like to ask for you to do, if you have not done it already, is to please update your email address. The county creates your Naviance account using your Cobb County email. However, we can't actually send emails to you through Naviance to that email because it is not a Cobb County email address. So when you are trying to communicate through Naviance, if you want to use the college visits information on there, we need an updated email address so that you can actually receive that information. So all you need to do is click About Me, click My Account, click Contact Information. There's like a little box that says Contact, and there's a little pencil icon that says Edit next to it. When you click on that, you can then update your email address and click Save. Please do not use your Cobb County or school email address for this. Please use something else that is not connected to the school, and that is something that you actually check and have access to. This is just some examples of things that Naviance can be used for. Career planning, college planning. Like I said, you can email with us. There's scholarship searches. If you have questions about how to utilize any of that, you can always come to your counselor and we can show you a little quick rundown of everything that's available to you on here. What I'm going to talk about now, though, is how to focus on adding the colleges that you're applying to so that we can send all your information. The first thing that I need for you guys to look at is if you are doing a Common App, you need to match your account. So as I mentioned earlier, that you have an extra step. Once you are mostly completed with your Common App on their actual website, you can then come here and match your account. You will know if you're ready to match if you have completed these steps. So if you need to have your education section completed in your Common App, you'll have a little green check mark that you finished that off. In order to do that, you need to have one college that's already in your colleges tab. And then under that college, you need to have signed the FERPA release authorization form. This means that we, as your counselor, we are allowed to send your academic records to a college. So that we need that signed so that we can actually send your transcripts. Once this is done, you can click the Match Accounts button, and it's going to open a new tab where you log into Common App, say yes, you can communicate with one another, and then it's all good and you'll be matched, and the bar will turn green and you'll know that it's ready to go. It will also pull all of the colleges that you have listed on your Common App over to Naviance, so it should kind of be syncing simultaneously for that. That way you're not having to double up with adding it on Common App and then adding it on Naviance. That's only if you are using Common App. If you are using any other application, then what you will be using is this plus sign that's on the Colleges I'm Applying To tab. The plus sign will allow you to add your colleges in an individual manner. This is also where we will talk about how you can add letters of recommendation from your teachers, and I will show you how to do that in a couple of pages. So if you click that plus sign, this is what's going to pop up, this little window. You will type in the college that you're interested in, you will tell us what your deadline is, and you will tell us how you are applying. This is very important to tell us, as I've mentioned already. You will have to do either Common App or direct to institution so that we know how the application is being submitted and how our paperwork on our side needs to be sent. This is what it looks like once you have a couple of colleges in here. You have a Common App, you have somebody who's going direct to institution. This question mark is something that you need to be aware of. Please make sure that you do not have any question marks on your page, because that means that it will default to Common App when it is being sent. So if you are applying to this school, this one is Emory, and you don't tell us how you're applying, maybe you decided to apply direct to the institution, but right now it's telling us that we don't know, so it will default to sending it through Common App. And if your Common App isn't isn't matched, then it won't let us send anything for you. If it is matched but it's not the way that you sent it, it will get lost. So the Emory wouldn't be able to retrieve that information. So it's very important that you guys tell us how you're applying, because you're the ones doing the applications. So we wouldn't know one way or the other. This just shows you the different submission types. All of these are okay to have on your page except for this unknown. Please make sure that you do not have any question marks when you are on your College I'm Applying To dashboard. For teacher recommendations, please ask your teachers at least 3 to 4 weeks in advance of your deadline. You need to make sure that you're giving them plenty of time to write a letter for you and write a good letter for you. That's what you really want. Once they said yes, and they're like, of course, I'll write a letter of recommendation for your application, you will then send their invitation to them through Naviance. So I mentioned it earlier. It's on that College I'm Applying To tab. I will then show you what it looks like on the next page, but I want you to make sure that you also are filling out the senior brag sheet. So I will show you that we have made some changes for that, and I will walk you through how to access that as well. This is what it looks like when you are adding a teacher recommendation. You will need to select the teacher under spot 1. If a teacher is not listed on there that works at Sprayberry, please email your counselor so we can look into that, because that would be an issue. And then specify which college it is that they are writing their recommendation for. If you have somebody like KSU here, which is circled, that does not require any, and they do not allow any letters of rec, please don't ask your teacher to write one for you, because that means that they do not take that into account when looking at their admissions. That won't be looked at for your admissions packet. So please don't ask for a letter that they don't require, because it basically just means that it's not necessary for you to do. You can also track this information on that same letters of recommendation page. Once it's requested, it will show up as requested. Once it's submitted, the status will change, so you can see if your teacher has done that yet or not. For counselor recommendations, again, it's very, very important that you guys fill out that brag sheet and that you actually brag on yourself. Write down everything that you think is great about you, that you have done in high school, That's going to be very important when we're writing your letters so that we can help you stand out against other applicants. Once you have done the senior brag sheet survey in Naviance, which I will show you how to access on the next slide, you need to let us know that you need a letter of rec. You can just email us, and we need at least 2 weeks in advance. We cannot accommodate last minute deadlines only because we, again, want to make sure we are writing the best letter for you. So please make sure that you guys are asking us early. To find the survey, you have the written examples here, and I have pictures on this slide here. All you need to do is click About Me, Surveys from your school. There is one that is called Senior Brag Sheet for Letters of Recommendation. It's very hard to miss. We've made it a very detailed title. Please click that. You will then be able to fill out all 10 questions that we have. If you want to skip some, that's fine, but just try to fill in as much as you can with as much good information as you can, and be sure to then click Update at the bottom of the page. This is a living document, so if you guys want to start it, come back to it, update it in a couple of weeks, whatever you want, just always make sure that you click Update, and then let us know if there's a big update that you've done that you want to make sure is included in the letter. For requesting transcripts, the first step is to make sure it's in Naviance and that it's all correct. And then you go to My Payments Plus and fill out the form and pay $2 per transcript. You have to do this every time that you guys want a transcript to be sent. So you can do it in bulk, but remember, if you add, if you send a few and then a month later you need to, you've decided to add another college and send more, you need to make sure that you go in and pay for that other college. Otherwise, we don't know that you're ready to send that. So please make sure that you are doing both of these steps. For your SAT and ACT scores, you guys will send that directly on their websites. So the SAT is College Board, the ACT is actstudent.org. Again, counseling unfortunately does not have access to these scores, so you need to make sure that you do that on their website. College visits have been revamped this school year for us. So college admissions representatives are able to actually come to Sprayberry again and meet with our students face-to-face. Those meetings will be happening on Wednesdays during AO, and they will be in the LGI. There is a 30 student cap on those seats, so please make sure that if you see a college that you're interested in, that you sign up quickly. That way you're able to secure one of those spots for them. You can do this sign up in Naviance, and all of the college visits will be listed in Naviance as the representatives sign up for them. So this list will be constantly changing. You need to sign up with at least 24 hours in advance. That way everything's able to sync up. You're able to get the email for it. The college visit link is located on the college's homepage. So when you're looking at that, those words across the top of Naviance, there's one that says colleges. When you click it, there'll be a spot that says college visits. Also, if you go into just the college homepage, there's a little box that talks about college visits. And it will, again, list every date and the school that's coming. When you register, you need to click into the name, click the register button. You can see how many seats are available. You'll see, again, where the location is, the time. When you register, you will get an email confirmation. This is considered your pass for AO to go to that event. We will have somebody checking this so that we can ensure that the students who sign up are the students who attend. So please make sure that you register and that you have already changed your email so that when you get that confirmation, it goes to the correct email address that you want. This information is all about scholarships. So like I've mentioned, this can also be done in Naviance. There's different types of scholarships that students can look for. There's academic, community service, athletic, any extracurricular-based ones, identity-based, need-based, and then ones that can be tied to maybe your parents' employers or a military status. So you can check the scholarship resources in Naviance on the college's homepage. When you click the colleges thing at the top, it will then pop down and you will see a section that says scholarships and monies. When you click into there, there is a scholarship list that is updated weekly from the county and from Sprayberry. So we also will add things in there specifically for our students. That, again, is constantly changing. So please make sure that you guys are checking that. Make sure that you're paying attention to deadlines. There's also There should be a scholarship search engine in Naviance, along with that college search engine that pulls from a bunch of different websites on the internet. So when you're looking for them, please make sure that you're just putting in the information that you qualify under so that it can find the correct scholarships that you match with. A lot of college websites, every college website will have some sort of financial aid page. So be sure that when you have that list of colleges that you're thinking about, look to see what sort of financial aid they offer, because you might qualify for one of their scholarships that are specific to their school, and typically those end up being a good amount of money. So please make sure that you're checking those, and please make sure that you are looking on things like College Board or Georgia Futures that have other built-in scholarship search engines so that you can find different scholarship resources for you that match what your credentials are. If you are looking into a private college, you may need to create a CSS profile. This is something that is in addition to FAFSA, so two separate applications. Many of them are used by early action and early decision institutions. So again, those typically are private schools. You can find a list of all the schools though at this website that's on the page. And if they're on there and you can qualify for them, please make sure that you fill out that profile. For the Hope Scholarship, all of this information is on georgiafutures.org. Your Hope Scholarship, if you have a 3.0 GPA for the academic classes that they count, anything in English, math, science, social studies, and world language, then you qualify for the Hope Scholarship. You do also have to have 4 rigor classes, but that is pretty much taken care of, like it's built into Sprayberry's schedules. So if you have any questions about that, there is a comprehensive list on Georgia Futures that tells you all of the classes that qualify under that. For the Zell Miller Scholarship, 100% of your tuition will be covered. So for Hope, it's typically 80 to 85%. Zell Miller, it will be 100% of tuition. It does have more rigorous requirements because of that. So you need at least a 3.7 GPA, and you have a testing requirement. So a 1200 on the SAT or a 26 on the ACT, and you must complete that in one sitting. So that means that you've taken the test at one time. It doesn't have to be your first time taking the test, but when you have taken the test in one sitting, you have received that score. They won't super score it. This testing requirement was never taken away last year, so even during the time when colleges were becoming test optional, this testing remained. So please make sure that you guys are taking that test if you need it, and if you have the GPA requirement for the Zell Miller, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity because you weren't able to take the test. Something important to remember is your social security number must be updated in the Cobb Student Record System in order to receive Hope funds. So this should be done before you graduate. If you go into Georgia Futures and try to see your Hope GPA and you cannot see it and it says that there's an error, you need to email your counselor, because most likely you don't have a social security number in your system, and we will need to have that updated so that it can sync everything together so that you can see it and so that your college will be able to provide Hope to you when the time comes. There's only very specific times during the school year where we're able to do uploads for the Hope transcripts, so please make sure that you guys are paying attention to your Hope GPA. For if you can't see it, we need to update that information for you. The Hope Grant is very similar to the Hope Scholarship. This is for technical colleges. It does not have a GPA requirement at the beginning. The Hope Grant will cover a portion of the student's tuition, and you don't even have to be a full-time student to be earning it at the time. Students will have to have a certain GPA, that 2.0, in college to maintain their eligibility. So again, you can find all this information on Georgia Futures. This bridge log will only become available at certain times during the school year, so I'm going to explain it to you, but please make sure that you are not doing this until you get an email from your counselors and announcements from your counselors that this is available to you. So if you're graduating in December, you will receive the link for the survey and the instructions around Thanksgiving. if you're graduating in May, this will happen for you around spring break. Basically, the survey is just information that the county is looking for to know what your future plans are after you graduate from us. You do need to complete this before graduation. This is something that the county requires us to ask you to do. These are the directions. It's very simple. Everything will be done in Naviance. You will go in and find it under tasks. It will be the 2022 graduation survey, and you just take the survey. It will be very quick, I promise. If you have any other questions, you can always email us. I have included our emails here for you, again, with all the counseling breakdown. It is also located on our homepage of the Sprayberry Counseling website, sprayberrycounseling.com, or you guys can come into the counseling office and schedule an appointment with us. Have a great senior year, guys.